As the saying goes, better the devil you know than the devil you don't. But is that really the case? Hi, I'm Rebecca Brayton and welcome to WatchMojo.com. And today we're speaking with Libyan author Hisham Matar about the conflict in Libya, Muammar Gaddafi's dictatorship, and what it means for the Libyan people. It would be important to get some context as to what's going on in Libya today and what has been going on. Would you be able to distill the core conflicts that are at play there?
Of course, it's incredibly important to get rid of these terrible dictatorships. But I think what is more magical about what's happening is that it is a moment that a people suddenly realize that they can change the reality. It commits them to questions to do with what does it mean to be a people, what sort of society do we want to have, what are our aspirations, what is our identity, and all these conversations are fantastically stimulating not only to the confidence of people, but they're stimulating culturally too. One thing that is difficult to explain to people who don't know the Libyan reality is that for the last 42 years we've known exactly what is expected out of us. We knew what's going to happen next. We knew what books we should read, what books we shouldn't read. We knew how we should behave. Suddenly we don't. And of course that uncertainty carries with it a sense of anxiety. People are worried. What are we going to end up with? But I think more importantly, what it carries with it is a sense of hope and excitement, and also maturity. Because I think deciding what sort of society you want is a mature act, and it invites people into a dialogue that is profoundly important. And I've noticed this kind of stimulation to the public dialogue in Libya amongst all sorts of very different people.
Tell us about Gaddafi himself, what kind of ruler he is, and his dictatorship and his tactics.
He's unique amongst dictators in the sense that he is the state. And lots of people who want to understand Libya find that very difficult to grasp, in the sense that there are no institutions. There is no such thing as an army, particularly after the 1990s, when Gaddafi realized that the army is starting to resemble a proper army and therefore he can't influence it in all the ways he wanted to. He started to dismantle it, and so what you end up with is militias, really, brigades that are loyal to him. So that's one of the ways that he is unique. The other way is that he is, like most dictators, incredibly intrusive. He has intruded into every little crevice of Libyan public life. One of the first things he did is he destroyed civic life. So all the theaters, all the cinemas, anything that caused for public participation, festivals, unions, law societies were immediately destroyed. And in fact, even football became a threat, because suddenly, there are all these people that gather to watch a game. So he banned football for a good 10 years. There is design to the madness, because he's a very easy person to caricature. But I think that misses how incredibly intelligent and able he has been, and cunning to control this small country. And I think the curious thing about dictatorship, any type of dictatorship, is that it looks incredibly powerful and in control all the time. And sometimes that blocks the imagination from imagining any other reality. And many Libyans have surrendered, I think, in their quiet hours to the conclusion that it's going to be like this forever. Gaddafi's been around so long that most of Libyans have been born after him, because Libya is an incredibly youthful country. According to that theory, that means that the dictatorship's project has been comprehensive on them. There's no way these people are going to rise, because they don't know any other reality. And now we see, no, it's the opposite. It's exactly because the majority of Libyans are youthful and have the recklessness and the audacity and the madness and the ambition and the hope of youth. Also, exactly because the influence of the dictatorship on them has been so comprehensive, they can't give it any benefit of the doubt. They know exactly what it's about, that they've risen. And, it's been led by young people.
How would you describe the relationship between America, Europe, and the Gaddafi regime?
It's a relationship that is on some level scandalous, because particularly after 2003, when the international community, headed by Tony Blair, who went to Libya, shook hands with Gaddafi, called him our North African friend, and very respectable governments started to treat Gaddafi with respect. The argument for that was that this will motivate him to be more open and to engage into reform. We can see now that actually it's exactly the opposite. That treatment gave him a legitimacy, made him more able to oppress his own people, arguably extended his already very long reign, and allowed him to oppress a lot of dissent under the claim that he was fighting terrorism. The logic up to now is that these people can't be trusted. It's better to have a dictator, even if he's ruthless and violent, that holds them in his grip and that he is somewhat loyal to us. At least we know how he's going to behave. Hopefully that's now being superseded by the idea that actually no, the more consistent and more honorable engagement and desire for stability has to arise from a people's will to be expressed, to decide how they want to live their lives. One of the troubling things about international politics is that you realize that people prefer to deal with somebody they know than with somebody that is good or bad, or they don't think in those terms, And I'm hoping that all of this dramatic change will maybe make us all revisit that a bit.
Thank you very much.
Pleasure, thanks.